I get itchy scrolling through a dozen laptop listings, trying to figure out if a 14-inch mobile workstation is really worth the price tag, and you don't want to end up with a machine that feels like a glorified tablet, or a sluggish beast that never leaves the desk. I was in the same spot last month, weighing whether to upgrade my aging work laptop before a big client project rolled in. I dug into the specs, skimmed a handful of forums, and tried to picture the day-to-day reality of using something like the Lenovo ThinkPad P14s Gen 5. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what a mobile workstation actually means in plain language. It's a laptop that tries to give you the horsepower of a desktop-class PC, while staying light enough to carry on a plane or slip into a backpack. For engineers, architects, or video editors who need to run heavy CAD files, render previews, or spin up virtual machines, the difference between a regular Ultrabook and a workstation can be the ability to keep multiple demanding apps open without the system grinding to a halt. The ThinkPad P14s packs an Intel Core Ultra 7155H. That chip sits in the newer U-Series family, which balances performance and power consumption. In real-world terms, you'll notice it when you open a large 3D model in SolidWorks, while a spreadsheet and a couple of browser tabs stay responsive. It's not a flagship Xeon, but the extra cores and higher boost frequencies give you a noticeable edge over the typical i5-based business laptop. Pair that with 32 GB of DDR5 RAM, and you've got enough headroom to keep 3 or 4 heavy programs running side by side, something I saw on a Reddit thread where a user was simultaneously running Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and a local Docker environment without any stutter. The screen is a 14.5-inch panel with a 1920x1200 resolution. The extra vertical pixels make a difference when you're scrolling through long code files or reading PDFs, because you get a bit more real estate than the classic 1080p layout. I tested it by watching a 4K movie at full screen, and the picture was surprisingly crisp for the size. Colors were accurate enough that you wouldn't notice a shift when moving to a calibrated monitor later in the workflow. If you're the type who watches tutorials while you code, the screen does a decent job of keeping both windows readable without constantly switching tabs. Storage-wise, the P14s comes with a 512GB SSD. That's plenty for the essentials: your OS, a suite of professional apps, project files, and a library of music or movies you might want on the go. If you work with massive video libraries or need to store terabytes of raw footage, you'll probably need an external drive or a secondary internal slot, something that many users overlook until they run out of space midway through a project. The SSD itself is fast, so boot times are under a minute, and opening large files feels snappy. Now, let's get into the practical strengths that actually matter after you take the box home. The first thing I noticed was how quickly the machine handled context switching. I'd have a CAD model open, switch to a Python IDE, then jump to a web-based project management tool, and the transition was smooth. That fluidity is largely thanks to the combination of the Core Ultra processor and the 32 GB of RAM, which together keep the OS from paging to disk, a common annoyance on lower-end laptops. The second real-world win is the keyboard layout. Lenovo's ThinkPad line is famous for a tactile, low-travel keyboard, and the P14s sticks to that heritage. If you spend hours typing code or writing reports, the feel is noticeably more comfortable than the shallow, mushy keys you find on many thin and light laptops. It also includes a numeric keypad on the right side, something that's surprisingly handy for data entry tasks, and often missing on 14-inch devices. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs that can bite you if they don't align with your workflow. The first is graphics. This model relies on integrated Intel graphics rather than a dedicated NVIDIA Quadro or RTX chip. For most CAD work, the integrated GPU can handle viewport rotation and moderate rendering, but if you need to run GPU-accelerated simulations or heavy 3D rendering, you'll feel the slowdown. The lack of a discrete GPU also means you won't get the same level of ISV certification that many professional software vendors list as a requirement. Battery life is another gray area. Lenovo advertises roughly 8-hour endurance.